Hi and welcome to Racketline. We're the Midlands racket sports specialist. We specialise in tennis, squash, badminton, racquetball and even table tennis. And we're here today to talk about different types of rackets. Okay, so if you're a beginner and you haven't really got that much of an idea of what rackets to go for, there's a couple of sort of variables that I'll run through first. Things that sort of the average person doesn't really take into account when they walk into a store to buy a racket. Now there's a couple of things. I'm just going to get one of the rackets to show you more easily. So the first thing we consider is the size of the head, then the grip size, and then the type of pattern that we have, the weight of the racket, again very important, and then the balance of the racket as well. Now these are some of the variables that we need to consider. So I'm going to start with probably one of the most important considerations, which is the size of the head. Now generally the larger the size of head, the more power that we can generate. Now, as a beginner we struggle generally to get the ball power behind the ball, so trying to get it from one side of the court right to the back of the other side of the court, or even out of the court. So there we need the racket to really help us. And in terms of the head size, the longer the main string on the racket, the more power that it will generate. So if we look at how the strings work on a larger racket, the ball will be pocketed into the strings and then thrown out like a trampoline. So the larger our trampoline, the more power we're going to get. Now the other thing also, starting out as a beginner, 9 times out of 10 we're probably going to miss the ball. So if we've got a larger head, we've got more chance of hitting the ball as well. So there's another bonus to it as well. Another sort of key point is the weight of the racket. Now generally 300 grams is classed as sort of the industry standard. Above that we class rackets as being heavy, and below that we class them as being light. Now in terms of a heavier racket, the schools of thought are that there's more what we call plow through with the ball, so that literally the weight of the racket plows through the ball and provides the power. Now with a lighter racket, they're easier to swing, so in that term we can get more racket head speed behind the ball, and again that generates power. Now really it's what you're more comfortable with. Now there's slight issues in terms of lighter rackets, which are that they can vibrate more, so we get a juddering of the racket if it's too light, but manufacturers have looked at these problems and done things like making this beam size bigger and also developing damping systems within the racket, and it's something also we can cater with the strings, which we'll come to later. Now another very key consideration is the grip size. So the correct grip size is different for everybody really, and the way we find out the grip size, well, let me talk about some of the problems we have if we've got the wrong grip size. So if the grip size were too big for us, we'd end up in a situation where the racket would actually spin in our hand as we hit it, because we'd be struggling to really hold on to the racket. Now, conversely, if it was too small and we're gripping it too tightly, then we're likely to get problems with tennis elbow and a whole host of other problems as well, which can occur with the wrist and so on with that. So it's really important to get the right grip size. Now in terms of choosing the grip size, there's one very quick and very easy method to be able to do that, and that's if we hold the racket in the way we're going to generate a forehand stroke, and we're able to put one finger between our grip, then that's the right grip size for us. So very easy to do. Just hold the racket as if we were playing a forehand shot, and then put one finger there. So if there isn't any space, if it was too tight and we couldn't get one finger in there, then this would be too small for us. And if we could get a couple of fingers, or there was more space there, it would be too big for us. So very easy method of choosing the grip size. Should we use the original string or not? That's a good question. When people splash out, they buy a new racket, they think, well, I'll change the string at the same time. Now generally I would say when you buy a new racket, the best thing to do is to get used to the racket first and then look at the string. Now generally if we change the strings, we can increase the performance by up to 25%. Factory strung rackets are generally strung at a lower tension with probably a lower grade of string, because the manufacturer's aim really is to make sure that this lasts and it doesn't come back to them. So when we look to try and upgrade the performance, then there's a whole host of strings that we can look at. In the USA RSA database, there's over 3,000 different strings, and that doesn't also include the hybrid stringing, where we can take one string and mix it with another string. At Racketline, we have our stringing service, and we have a guide for all types of strings as well. And what we take into account there is the type of player, the frequency that they play at, and what sort of characteristics that they want in their racket. So do they want more spin? Do they want more power? Do they need more control over the ball? So all these things we can work on with different string types. And we offer a very quick service. We can turn around same day or next day as well. So if you're a beginner looking to start tennis or to take your game a bit further, we're really here to help you. We're here to help you choose the best racket for yourself. We've got our online store where you can choose a whole host of top brands at really good prices as well. You can email us, call us on the phone, and we'll give you advice over the phone if you need to. We even do a demo service, so you can come in and demo any of the rackets that we have as well. So we're really here to try and guide you on your tennis journey.